And thank you, partners, for being here with us today. I love the strategy from our missions department to partner together with community organizations, organizations around the city. Together, we can accomplish so much more than we can individually. Certainly, as a church, we need to partner with organizations that stay in their lane and that can help people in expert ways, in ways that, quite frankly, we can't do by ourselves. So thank you so much for being here, and it is an honor to be able to partner with you. I want to start with a graphic that kind of shows where we're going tonight together, but I'd like to give this graphic some context, and so that context is this. Together, we are scaling a mountain. Now, when I was a young adult, I lived in Atlanta with a roommate, and we went on an adventure. We got in the car and spent a long weekend driving out to Colorado, and we were around Colorado Springs and went camping in Pikes Peak. And we mapped out a hike that was about a 20-mile hike that was around this incredible park. And as we went off on this journey, we walked through, it was a kind of an all-day thing. We started our journey together, and we walked through wooded trails, and then we walked through areas that was kind of windswept and nothing was growing on the side of this mountain and looked like tundra, and we walked for miles on that kind of terrain. We walked across boulders. We put on our jackets and walked through snow. We walked through rain, and then there were even places where the sun were beating on us, and we had our jackets wrapped around our hips. You know, we had our school backpacks and tennis shoes on, and went on this amazing hike. And as we got to certain parts of this terrain, it was really steep. And as we were climbing, we noticed some guys coming down the mountain, and one of them stopped us. You know, they had gear, they had ropes, and they said, "Where are y'all going?" And I said, "Well, we're just following this trail." And he said, "Well, this trail leads to a technical climb, and you're going to need equipment. You can't go up there." And we said, "Oh, yeah, we know. And they went on, and of course, me and my roommate were like, we didn't know. And so we modified our trail and kept going, and just before it was pitch black dark, we made it back to our base camp. But what a journey we went on. And I want to give you a mindset for this context of scaling a mountain. The mindset is that we'll get there together. Now, I want to show that graphic again. It says that we're going to get there, and we're going to get there together. I have appreciated this as a mantra from other pastors that have led me over the years, that would slow us down. And when he would see us being too stressed in ministry, when he would see us really at our breaking points, struggling to do more than we really were capable, he'd say, "Okay, let's take this off the table. We're going to get there. We're going to get there together." I appreciated that so much. Less healthy leaders, would brag about, "Listen, you can get on the bus, you can get off the bus, or the bus is going to run you over, but the bus is going to get there." That could be the mindset. But our mindset, the mindset that I'm going to suggest to you, is that we'll get there together. We're scaling mountains. And that, of course, requires leadership. As we show this graphic, leadership is foundation on that graphic. Leadership is foundation. Proverbs 29:18 says, "Where there is no vision, the people will perish." So what is your vision? Where is your there? When we say we're going to get there together, where is your there? This is all about your vision and mission statement as an organization. And how is your leadership contributing to this vision? You lead by either painting the vision, or you lead by playing a part in the vision. But make no mistakes, you are a leader. You are going to have a mindset that we are going to get there together. And we'll add to this mindset leadership to move us toward the there. And this is as we go And as we go toward there, we're going to maintain relationship. You know, if leadership is foundation, relationships are mission critical. We're going to show that graphic again. We see on top of leadership is relationships, and they're mission critical. Proverbs 27:17 says, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. You know, in 1 Thessalonians 5:11 says, therefore encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact you are doing. Is your leadership relational? Does your organization value relationships? A more personal question, one that our pastor Andy George asks quite often is, as you enter a room, do you make that room better relationally? And if so, how do you do that? And if not, why not? You know, I got a text from a committee volunteer just the other day. I was texting to make sure she was coming to a meeting that evening. She hadn't responded to the email, and she said, oh, I've been so busy. I apologize. I am going to be there. I responded, yeah, thank you so much. I know you're really busy. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to be able to be at this meeting. And she responded, you know what? When I meet together with people that fill me up, it makes it all worthwhile. Now, that response just said a lot to me, and I want you to hear it in the context of your organization as well. You know, our people, they will sacrifice for us. They will sacrifice for you're there, whether you're there as helping people that are clothing insecure or food insecure or housing insecure, you know, those people that need support and help, and that only we can help together. Our people, whether they're volunteers or board members or colleagues, our people will sacrifice for us. So why aren't we helping fill them up relationally? You know, that's such a big deal. If they are being filled up while they're on this mission, it makes it all worthwhile. I hope you'll hear that. You know, I think you'll agree work needs to be about more than just work, doesn't it? Remember in school when we had recess? You know, I loved recess. You know, I'm not even sure that we have recess anymore in schools. Do you know that our church office environment, we just implemented a monthly recess, okay? I love this. So it's the third Thursday of every month. We have recess, and a staff member is kind of responsible for it, and we set out board games and cornhole, and we had a Frisbee golf disc and coffees, and it was fun. It was social. Folks were playing Uno. Folks were playing you know, all kind of enjoyable games, and we were talking and getting to know each other in a different context than just work. Allow room for relationships in your organization. You know, we've got to get there, but can we get there together? Can you allow room for relationships? It's mission critical. Now, a funny thing is, as you allow room for relationships, you'll discover needs in people's lives. Everyone has needs, and so there's always going to be opportunities for care. Care is the ministry we didn't plan for. I want you to see that next graphic. So care, it's that ministry we didn't plan for. We all knew when we were being hired, when we started volunteering, that we would be helping in some way, whatever our organization is trying to help with, whether it's counseling or it's clothing for those that are clothing insecure. We expected to be helping in that way, but we didn't expect that my fellow volunteer or my coworker would be going through a real life challenge. Maybe they're going through a divorce. Maybe they're caring for an aging parent. And I could go on, the list of needs that we can care for with each other. We plan for one ministry, and God presents us with another ministry. That's care. Care can be for our colleagues, for our board members, for volunteers, or for clients. Philippians 2:4 says, not only look out for your own interests, but also for the interests of others. It requires compassion, right? Empathy. It also requires boundaries. You know, what allows you to care for people well? Do you provide initiatives that foster care in your organization? Do you start meetings with personal updates and hearing from everyone about their personal lives? Do you give folks an opportunity to share prayer requests? Do you start supervision meetings with sharing how things are going personally in your lives? You know, these are important opportunities, and they're critical. You know, for yourself, how do you care for yourself? Do you have boundaries in your life? Are you able to go home in the evenings and shut down the emails and turn off the phone? Are you able to carve out time for yourself and for your family? Do you have a life beyond the job, a spiritual life, a mental life, a physical life? Are you participating in a small group? Are you pursuing interests and hobbies? These things help you make a room better when you walk into, and you have things to share and things to talk about that are outside of just work. Caring for people that you're in relationship with, it comes pretty natural. But as you care, there comes some opportunities for deeper help as well. Now I'm talking about help opportunities, and let me show you that graphic as well. Help opportunities, and those chances to resource or meet a need that is beyond what a person can reasonably do on their own. You know, with physical things, there are plenty of problems that we can just address on our own physically. We may tell a friend about it. They may be compassionate and supportive, and they may care for us. But then there are situations where you need more than what any of your friends can really provide for you. In physical situations, sometimes we just need a doctor, right? You know, in the pastor's office next to me, one day he was opening a box with a pair of scissors, which I don't recommend that, by the way. That wasn't a good idea. But I heard his distress next door. And as I went over, I realized he sliced his finger with this pair of scissors, and he was bleeding. And I heard his distress, and I said, "Let me drive you to urgent care." And so immediately we left and went to the urgent care doctor's office. Sometimes we need help beyond what any of us can provide. Do you have proper resources? You know, how do you know the difference between care and help? Galatians 6:2 says, "Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you fulfill the law of Christ." And then a couple verses later, Galatians 6:5, it says, "For each one should carry their own load." Now listen, that's a little confusing because in one verse it says, carry or bear one another's burdens. And in the other verse it says, but each one should carry, well, which is it? Should we carry our own load or should we carry one another's burdens? And if you study this passage, you come to realize that the word for burden in Greek is a very different word than the word for load. And this burden is a thing that's just too big for one person to carry alone. And we need to bear one another's burdens to help them together because it's too much for one person to bear alone. We have things like that in life that needs the help of others, and we do well to come together and help one another in those times of need. But we're not really helping if we're carrying a person's load, and that's something that they ought to be able to carry on their own. It's actually a loving thing to help them realize that they can carry their load. And so it takes wisdom. Do you have a strategy for helping? Can you provide compassionate help with loving boundaries? Some organizations have trained first responders to help identify, assess, and triage mental health. Doug Gamble and I have been through a first responders kind of mental health training here in the Raleigh area at our sheriff's department. And it's a great thing. A lot of organizations train people in that kind of mental health triage training. Some organizations have referrals available. Are you prepared? Is your organization prepared to be a help to folks when they have a need? Help is also about self-help. I hope you'll see the importance of investing in yourself. You must create time for self spiritually, mentally, and physically. You can engage in mentoring, in coaching, in counseling, and in therapy. All of these can be important and helpful methods of helping you grow in the ways that you need to grow. Well, in closing, how will you apply this message? You know, as you are attempting to navigate and scale your mountain, you know, wherever your there is, how will you apply this message? There are three types of applications: something to know, a way to be, or a thing to do. I'd like you to think about that. In the chat, I've got some links to articles about relational leadership, about self-care strategies and and stress reduction. And I've also linked to an organization called Doing Good at Work. They're one of our local partners that help companies and organizations all over the country become better. Boomer Brown, I think, is on this call, and Boomer is the founder of this organization. They mentor people and help organizations become better. And I've also put a employee care plan as a link on this document, or in your chat as well. And so you can see these resources that this website offers, and Doing Good at Work. And if you need help to develop your resources, this is a great organization to learn and glean from. And so I know they would love to connect with you. Well, I hope this sets you up well to begin a conversation. You've got discussion questions in your chat, and in just a moment, you're going to be directed out to your breakout sessions and give you a time not only to meet some friends, but to discuss this important topic about getting there together in your small group breakout. So have a great discussion.